In this video, we're going to walk you through some of the different host controls that teachers can have over their Google Meet. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to join our Google Meet. So we're going to click on the Join Now button here to get into the Google Meet. Once you join the Google Meet, you can click on the blue shield in the lower left-hand corner to access these host controls, or you're going to want to navigate down here to the lower right corner where the three dots are. This is the More Options menu. You'll click on More Options, and when you click on More Options, you're going to have a Settings button here that we'll click on to see the host controls. So we're going to click on Settings. You'll know that you are the host for that meeting if you see the Host Controls button here on the left side of the screen. So I click Host Controls, and when I do that, you'll notice that my controls as the host appear here on the screen. So I have three different things that I can toggle on and off as the host. First thing here is the quick access option. So you'll notice it says when turned off. It currently is turned on. It defaults to being turned on. But when you turn it off, the host must be the first person to join. For other people to join the meeting, the host will have to be there. Only people invited by the host can join without asking. So what that means is if you've created a Google Meet link and you've shared that link to your students, but you've not specifically invited them to the meeting through Google Calendar or through Google Meet, then what that means is you'll have to basically let them in to join the meeting. Now that only has to happen one time. So if you've got 25 students in your class and you've turned off quick access, the first time that students go in to access the meeting, then what will need to happen is you'll have to allow them. You'll get a prompt on the screen here that will say, Johnny is trying to enter the meeting, and you would admit them to the meeting. Once you admit them to the meeting, then the next time you host the meeting, you won't have to admit them individually. It will remember them as being allowed in. They still won't be able to join that second meeting unless you're present in the meeting. So again, quick access, when it's turned off, the host must join first in order for people to join. Only people invited specifically by the host can join without being prompted. Everyone else, it says, must ask to join, including those who dial in. Remember, if they ask to join and you admit them, you should not have to admit them the next time. So you won't have to sit there and hit admit every time. You can kind of knock everybody out or admit everybody that first time, and then once you admit them, it should remember them for the next time. Please, or people that are anonymous, so they're not signed into Google, they won't be able to join. So we recommend, you can turn this off. Now, one thing that we learned is when this is turned off, let's say that you're in a meeting, you've allowed people in, you've done your meeting, you're ready to now be done with the meeting. The best thing to do, like the best practice, is to let every student in the meeting on their own. So let them, leave the meeting. Once they've left the meeting, then you can leave the meeting as the host. What we have found is if you leave first and students kind of hang out in the meeting after the fact, then as long as there's somebody in that meeting, then somebody else can come in and join. So best thing to do is have all the students leave before you, and then they won't be able to get back in that meeting until you rejoin it. We'll come back to a little bit of that here in just a second. And then finally, you can turn it off where the students can't share their screen and they can't use the chat messages in the chat bubbles if that's what you want. So turn those back on for now. One thing I want to say or kind of bring back to our attention here was when we said about you being the last person to leave as the host. If you have a student who they're still logged into the meeting, but they're gone, they left, their computer's still on, and you don't want to sit around and wait for them to come back and leave the meeting, you can click on the participant list here, and you'll have an option. You'll see everybody in the meeting. You'll have an option to click next to their name. There'll be some options there, and you'll be able to remove them from the meeting without you having to wait for them to leave. So either wait for all the students to leave, or you can go in and remove them. And again, that's just going to help where if you remove everybody or they leave as the host, if you're the last one in the meeting, then the next time somebody goes to join the meeting, you'll have to be in there for them to join the meeting.